Hi, I'm Pierre Lipton. I'm in this year's Forbes 30 Under 30 list for media, and I'm here to give you my 3 tips about running a business in the upcoming Roaring 20s.
Rapid fire questions. At what age do you want to retire?
Let's say 90, because if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
How long does it take you to get ready in the mornings?
20 minutes.
Most embarrassing moment of your life?
I hid inside a suitcase at the airport for a high school prom proposal.
Fill in the blank. An upcoming marketing trend is
An
blank.
upcoming marketing trend is email.
The city in which the best kiss of your life happened.
Griswold, Connecticut is where I adopted my puppy, and she licked me when I adopted her, so I'm counting that as the best kiss of my life.
Pick one, Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey.
The first movie that comes to your mind when I say the word ambition.
Bend It Like Beckham.
When did you last cry and why?
A couple nights ago watching This Is Us.
How do you relax?
I run long distances to clear my mind, and I watch TV at night to wind down.
How do you pronounce GIF?
GIF.
What is the dumbest thing you've seen on social media?
I have a love-hate relationship with PETA's animal-friendly idiom posts, but I try not to think about them too much because I have bigger fish to free.
How many cups of coffee do you drink per day?
3 shots of espresso.
A habit of yours that you hate.
Biting my nails.
The most valuable skill you've learned in life.
It isn't a skill per se, but having a bias towards being nice to people is incredibly underrated.
Your favorite TV show.
Rick and Morty.
It's long questions. How is newsletter marketing going to change in the post-pandemic decade?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think there are many ways it will change. I think there's the superficial sense that people are starting to commute more as things reopen. So when the pandemic began, I think we saw certain people who, say, drove to work started reading newsletters more because they when they were driving, they were listening to podcasts, but now they have time to read a newsletter. So as people stopped driving to work, they read newsletters more. But kind of conversely, people who took buses to work or people who took trains to work, they had this time dedicated in their day to read newsletters. But then when they weren't commuting anymore, when they were working from home, they had they no longer had that time. They no longer carved that time out. So they stopped reading newsletters and they started maybe listening to podcasts as they were getting their day started. So there's on this superficial level, there are these push and pull factors that I think will have people who are commuting via bus or train. I think they will start reading newsletters again, and people who start commuting via car again, they maybe will stop reading newsletters as much or email in general. And I think we're just going to see largely the inverse of what came at the beginning of the pandemic. But I think it's net zero. I think there won't be a lot of change on the aggregate level, but it will change a lot on the individual level. So that's kind of one effect in this post-pandemic era that I think we'll see a lot of just individual user behavior changing pretty tremendously as they go to or don't go to the office anymore. But on a very different level, I'm not sure how familiar the audience is with some of Apple's privacy changes, but they recently released in Q4 of last year, they released iOS 15, which is making tracking via email very challenging for most Apple users, most iOS users. And I think that's going to cause this kind of proliferation of spam in the inbox for your average consumer. You're going to see that more and more people are being sent emails that don't pertain to them because the email marketer can't target to individuals because Apple is preventing that targeting. So kind of in summary, there are these superficial, maybe net zero effects of the pandemic that some people will read email more, some people will read email less. But on this very almost existential level, because of privacy concerns on Apple devices, I think we're going to see just a lot of email in people's inboxes. I think the average inbox will have maybe double the emails that it has in the past, and that'll make it all the more important for content to be excellent to really get in front of and resonate with the end user.
What is going to be the key criteria for growing one's audience in the post-pandemic economy?
I think it's really going to be product. I think it's just having excellent content is always important. Like product market fit is the most important thing in business. But I think it's really going to be doubling down on the product that resonates with your audience and doing so at a cadence that makes sense to them. Because otherwise, there's going to be so much email in people's inboxes that in order to really stick, in order to be something that they open, that you as a marketer are able to monetize, you need to create content that isn't just a clickbaity subject line every now and then. It needs to be something that they can't help but come back to open every day.
How can one go about analyzing and testing data in new ways in the 2020s?
Yeah, I think kind of to keep beating the Apple privacy drum, we also saw earlier on in the year, last year, Apple released iOS 14, which made tracking across websites a lot more difficult for marketers. I think testing is going to be incredibly important in the coming years. Testing new channels, testing how we think about marketing, testing how we think about a customer's value. It's all going to be really like paramount to succeeding as a business. No longer can we get like a 6x ROAS immediately on Facebook ads. And if a business can, then I say back up the truck. That's awesome. But I don't think the average business can pull that off anymore. So we need to be really creative about maybe instead of having 90% of our budget spent on Facebook, for example, we're reallocating that to a bunch of channels that we're able to get more efficiency in. And we're always testing, and we're looking really closely at maybe the LTV of newsletters as a channel versus Facebook. Maybe newsletters or podcasts drive a higher lifetime value for your business. So the way we're trying to think about things, and the way that I think a lot of marketers are increasingly thinking about these kind of post privacy measurements is just double down on channels that work, but really test, bring in new channels insofar as it's possible, and really focus on not just where you're able to get the best cost per acquisition, but where you're able to get the best lifetime value, and how you're re-engaging the audiences after that.
Could you tell us a bit more about how you achieved a 10 million run rate with just 8 employees?
Yeah, it's come down to focus for us. We have I should say we're best known for our daily email newsletter. We focus on fact-based, kind of clickbait-free and bias-free news reporting for the average American. And what we've really honed in on is this single product, this single email. And I think you can achieve a lot if you set your focus on something. We haven't chased launching a science newsletter or a UK edition or a podcast because we've hit product market fit with the singular email, and we want to keep doubling down on that as much as we can. So focus has been a tremendous benefit to us. What I'll also say is my co-founders and I, we're always in the weeds. We're always in the trenches. So we haven't stepped back and let other people manage the business. We're really focused on continuing to do the work that we think is really meaningful and impactful for growing the audience. And also we've hired the best people in the world, I think. I mean, we have a very small team, but it's a team of incredible talent, and they've helped us. Like without our team, we'd be nothing, and we'd just be like three people kind of fumbling through the universe. But the people we have hired are incredibly skilled at what they do, from content, from marketing to sales. It doesn't matter. They're just remarkable people and incredibly smart and talented. So I would say, yeah, that focus on the single product, not chasing shiny objects, and hiring a great team has really enabled us to make the revenue we have with the small team we have. I would say we're actually now at 12 million run rate and 9 employees. So we continue to scale on all fronts. But as far as that pertains to our marketing, it's just focusing maybe not just on a single channel, but what we focus on is this cost per acquisition or I should say the lifetime value relative to cost per acquisition. We're always looking at our unit economics. Is Facebook doing well right now? Is it not? Do we need to divert budget to newsletters? Do we need to divert budget to Google? how are we making sure that we're not just chasing cheap subscribers, but we're chasing this ultimate goal of driving as much value to the business as possible. And with unit economics at the forefront of everything we do, both on our marketing team's decision making, but just as a company, it's really allowed us to accelerate the business very quickly.